All right, everybody, it is time to color up our cute little image of Bam Bam. So for Bam Bam skin colors, we're going to be using our E11, which is our Barley Beige. We're going to be using our E21, which is our Soft Sun. Our E00, which is our skin white, pardon me. And our E000, which is our pale fruit pink. And our R20, which is our blush. So these are similar skin tones to what we usually use. I'm just not using the E04 or the Quad 0, just because it is a smaller image, so we're keeping it a little bit more simple. So I'm going to start by taking that E11, and I'm going to spin my image around, and I'm going to just start to color under his hairline first. So I'm just going to bring this line down. And I'm going to bring it to his eyebrow right over here, and I'm going to come down here, and it's about equal with that eyebrow right there. I'm going to come around, and we're going to fill this in, or not fill it in, sorry, we're going to follow that line right here, and we're going to come down the side, and I come right down to the end of his hair here. So now I'm going to flip my image around, and I'm going to add a little bit of that E11 in the bottom of his elbow and up the side of his arm here. I'm going to add that E11 right over top of that top of the bone, and then I'm going to go right up the strap of his little outfit, and I'm going to put a little bit under his chin where a shadow would be. I'm going to go in beside the bone and up this line where his arm sits. And I'm going to go into his fingers and up the side of his arm. Now, I am trying to be very gentle, very delicate with how I use my Copic right now. I just want gentle pressure and just using a tip just to fill in some of the spaces. So under here, under his shorts, I'm going to follow that outline just to give a little bit of a shadowed color there. And I'm going to do the bottom of his foot and up the inside leg. And then I'm going to go over the right hand toe and up his leg there. I'm going to put a little bit into his right ear. And on his left ear, I'm going to put it onto the inside. And I'm going to give him just a tiny bit of this E11. Just on that right side of his cheek, just to give him a little bit more shadow there. Next, I'm going to take my E21, and which is our Soft Sun, and I'm going to flip him around again, and I'm going to go over what I colored and just slightly extend beyond. And now I'm going to come around that hair completely. And I'm going to come down and come around, fill in from where I was, flipping him around again. I'm going to go over his ear just a little bit here. I'll go over that cheek. And then I'm going to come around his cheek here. I'm going to go right up the side. So now it's kind of connected. I'm going to go into his nose a little bit and his eyebrows. Into this arm now, just a wee bit more. Same kind of going over where I laid down that skin color with the E11. Under his shorts, into his toe, and you can see that we do still have space left where his skin is showing. So now we're going to go in with our E00. So this is our skin white. So now here, I'm going to start on the outside of his left side of his nose. I'm going to make a circle because I'm going to mark off space for where I want the whites of his eyes. So I'm going to freely admit here, I'm not the best at making circles. So I'm going to do my best. So that might be a little bit big, but it kind of lets me know It gives me space where, okay, I know I need white space here. Don't go too close, and then we can always fix it up after. So he should look like he's got almost like a little pair of weird flash glasses on or something. So now with our E00, I'm going to go over from around his hairline. I'm going to start to bring that in a bit. And spin him around. And into that ear, into the other ear. Around his hands. And I'm going to go into his fingers now. Up that arm, in here. So I'm trying to still be very careful on my placement with my skin tone. From our E00, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go ahead and go in with my my R20, so my blush. And I'm going to add in his little cheeks right now, and I'm just going to make them 2 cute little circular dots. And I put them in first because I'm going to blend them out a little bit using my E000, that pale fruit pink. So again, one more time, I'm going to turn him around. And then it's going to go in that white space. And I'm just going to kind of make sure it's all filled in and blended in. And now we're going to go over his cheeks and under his mouth, under his nose, back up around the eye. And again, I'm just kind of going over those cheeks, under the nose. And I can start to fill in around the eye, just closing that space a little bit tighter now. I'll just hit the ear a little bit just for blending, and in the arms, and here right on his chest. And same on this side, and his arm. And then down into his legs over here. There should just be a tiny bit of white space there. There won't be too much. And you can see that it's been very easy to color our cute little Bamm-Bamm image so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with my E00. Just to give a little bit more depth on this side. Just make sure I've got nice even coverage there. And I'm going to go back in with my E000, and I'm just going to make sure that I've got his eye area covered better. So I just realized I have not been wearing my reading glasses, which is kind of new to me, so forgive me. So I'm going to put them on and see how bad did I do on this little image without my glasses. Okay, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I'm just going to make sure I kind of touch up around here a little bit. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to now take that R20 again, that blush color, and we're just going to give him an easy colored tongue. We're just going to put just a little bit of that blush right in his tongue area. We're going to keep that super, super simple. Now, too, if you wanted, and if you think you've gone over his eye area with color a little bit, maybe I have, you can take a colorless blender. Right now, my Ohuhu colorless blender, the 0 is has run out, but I do happen to have an Ohuhu colorless blender, and it has a fine tip right here. It also has a brush nib, but I'm going to, luckily for me, I'm going to use this fine tip just to go around his eye here, because I think I did kind of color it in a little bit. And I can kind of do that around this side too, just to make sure I've got the proper amount of white space there in the image. So that is little Bamm-Bamm's skin tone. So from his skin tone, next we're going to go to his hat and his shorts. So for those, we're going to be using our colors YR24, which is our pale sepia, our YR23, which is our yellow ochre, and then our YR12, which is our liquat. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. You can tell me. So we're going to start with our darker color. So that is going to be our YR24. So we're going to use that. And this color is going to go on the brim of his hat. And we're just going to follow that outside edge. Super easy, just like that. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in just even a little bit more here. Hopefully you can get a little bit of a better view. So next, we're going to take that and I'm going to start just outside where the hat brim is. I'm going to bring it around this corner and up. Then on this little ball part, we're going to go right at the bottom here from about a midpoint. And then we'll just follow it to the curve right there. And you may have heard the doorbell go off, so I apologize. And then on the bottom of his pants, or his little prehistoric outfit, we're just going to fill it in a little bit right there. And that was the YR24. So next up, it's going to be our YR23. So our oops, I accidentally took off the wrong end of the cap here. All right, so our YR23. So that's our yellow ochre. So I'm going to just zoom out just a little here for you. So I'm going to keep this just on the right-hand side and just fill it in just quickly in a little bit here. The same, and a little bit kind of just curving in there. And then into his little shorts, I'm gonna just fill it in a little bit more, and then right onto that little bone section and right under here onto that little strap, and we've got this little space for light here. Finally, we'll go in with that YR12. And then we're going to color in right here over the brim of his hat. And you can bring that color from the left over into the right. And same here from that light spot. We're going from the left into the right, into that darker area. And here we'll kind of fill that in. So now we're going to go on to his little shorts. And again, we're going to fill this spot in right here, and we're going to bring that color over. We're just going to blend it through. So now that we've got a little bit of blend going in there, what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more depth for that shadow. So I'm going back in again with my YR24. And I'm just going to make just some little marks here. Just giving it that little hints of shadow back in there. And I'm only going up on the right-hand side here and a little bit around where I think shadow would be. So I'm not adding a ton, I'm not blending. I'm just adding sort of some of that shadow back. So now he does have little spots on his hat and on his shorts. So we're going to add those with E44. So that's our clay. So we're going to be very, very gentle with our application. And we just need a few spots. It doesn't need to be a lot. And you can just kind of place them randomly, and they don't have to be not uniform, because it can kind of be like a little bit of a squiggle too. just to make them look like who knows what this animal was, because these are supposed to be some kind of animal skin or fur. So I think that looks pretty cute so far. So what I'm going to do is, just to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more texture, just a little bit more pizzazz, I'm going to take my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, the Black 199. This is the extra small. If you have any black liner pen, that would work great. And all I do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to add just some like little micro dots like right over the spots, just to add that little bit more texture to it. It just that little extra details that make things pop. Like when we go to finish, we're gonna also add like white Posca pen to the highlights of the eyes and around, just to make everything just pop a little bit more. So there, we've used that black pen, and I will set that aside. So next we're going to color this wee little strap in here, and that is going to be our E27, E25, and E23. I don't know why I kind of decided to do his hair last. I think because some people might just want to leave his hair pure white, because Bamm-Bamm has lighter hair. However, I am going to color it. I don't like to leave things white, but we're going to get there after we color the rest here. So his little strap is going to be E27, so that's milk chocolate. That E27, we're just going to sit right in this corner, right up this side, and not even all the way up. It's a very small space. Then we're going to go E25 with Caribe Cocoa. I'm going to just dabble it in there a little bit. And dabble it, I mean, I'm just kind of using the tip of my brush and just kind of dotting it a little bit. And then our E23, which is our hazelnut. And then I'm going to fill in that remaining space just by lightly dabbing it in there, because I don't want it to overblend, so I really don't want these colors to touch so much in this area. Then we're going to color his little club. So his club, super cute, and it actually does have a little bit of a green tone to it. If you've watched the cartoon, it kind of depends, but so I'm going to take, this one's going to be YG97, which is Spanish olive, YG95 pale olive, and E43 dull ivory. So we're going to start with our YG97. And we're just going to place that on this bottom edge. And we can just place it slightly under his chin. You can fill right under his ear. We're going to come up a bit. Come around and come up the end of his club. Next up is our YG95, so that is our pale olive. And you're just going across what you already colored. This light extension. And finally, our E43. And I'm going to go over this right here and bring it in. And blend it through. So to make this look kind of a little bit more real too, or just give it a little extra texture, we're going to grab that fine marker again, and we're just going to add little lines just to kind of give it a textured wood effect. Maybe there's like a knot in the wood. And I think he's looking pretty darn adorable so far. So his little bone in his shorts here. We're going to be doing with W1, W0, and W00. It's a tiny space, so it's easy to color, and you can skip the 00 if you want. But I'm just going to add the W1 right here to the very bottom. And I'm going to dab it a couple times, a few times, not more, yeah, more than a couple. On both sides, just going to layer up that color. And then I can hit it with the W0, the whole thing. A little bit more on that side. Then my W00, it's going to just go right here, just to make the side just a little bit lighter. And that's it. And it's a very, very subtle space. You may not notice it that much, but hey, I like to, if I got the colors, I'm going to use the colors. I think that's my motto. Sometimes my motto is more is more. It's not always right. Not always right. So next up, we are going to do his hair, which is going to be so his hair is going to be C2, C1, C0, and C00. At least that's what I'm going to do with it. So these are cool grays. So I'm going to start with my C2. And I'm going to just lightly flick up from the corner. And I just kind of follow what the hair is doing. And because this hair is kind of like white anyway, like, you don't really need to do a lot. Oh, I just threw him off the page. Gotta control the little Bamm-Bamm. So our C2. And we're gonna go in with C1. Probably let's use the right nib here. I'm gonna start from the top. And it may be hard to see, so don't worry. I am opening up all the wrong caps right now. This is just my C0. Just going in there a little bit. It gets to where you can almost not even see it. And then finally our C00. So that's our cool gray 00. And I'm just going to go and I'm going to blend it through the middle here, just to keep that nice and light. All right, so you can see that we've got his hair kind of colored there, but I'm going to just go back in now with my C2. And we're just going to add a few more definition flicks in there. And then I am going to go in with my little marker again. Sorry, my fine pen liner. And I'm just going to add I'm just adding a few more definition lines in here. Again, you don't have to, but it's just gonna a little extra step. And you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit definition into that bone as well. Yeah, finally, he is almost done. So now we're going to take, I'm using a white fine Posca pen. You can use a gel pen as well. So I'm going to add in the highlights to his eyes. I'm going to make them a little bit more defined. I think they're going to be cute with a little bit more of a highlight. So that's super easy. I'm going to add just a tiny bit onto his strap this close, a little bit on the bone. Maybe just a hint here. Tiny bit on his hat, nothing too much. And here, because his hair is white, this is where, if you want, you can go in and make very thin little white lines here. Just to give that little extra shine, little extra texture, little extra white. All the little details do matter. So I find when you're Copic coloring, you can go super simple and it looks amazing. And if you just want to throw in those little extra things, it kind of brings it up to a new level. But here is our adorable little Bam Bam. I think he's super cute and I can't wait to see him on a card with his little friend Pebbles and Kazoo. Oh, and Dino too.